Okay, so we have, I'm going to just take a look here and see who all we have on.
Hello.
Hi, how are you? You're on TV. You're famous, Amos. Yes, you're famous. How cool is that? I'll make faces at you. Can you see me? No? What are you eating? That looks really good. Oh, for fun. Lauren, you're home working from home now? Is that right?
Currently right now, yeah, I'm at home.
Yeah.
I still pay for daycare because she can be a lot, so.
Oh, yeah. The politically correct way of saying that is, well, we have to keep that spot reserved. So
she is under 2, and in order to get care, it's very difficult. So,
yes,
spot on, not even being politically correct, that's exactly what it is.
She's adorable. She is absolutely adorable. So
thank you. She's my youngest of 4.
Oh my gosh! Well, there you go. And what are the ages again?
12, 9, 6, and almost 2.
Holy cow! Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. All right. So let's see. Who else do we have on here now? I think we're waiting for Kim Prey yet, and who dialed in the 850 number?
That's Kristen Abner. I'm driving, so I can't do the video.
Oh, gotcha. That's perfectly fine. I was just double checking to see who all we're missing. And there's Kristen. Hey, Kristen, how are you?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Switch over my iPad.
Okay, that was really garbled right there. Could you try that again?
My laptop was not allowing voice.
Oh, okay.
So switch to the iPad.
All right, and it seems to be working much better, huh?
But are you on your customer?
What was that?
Are you on?
Okay, hold on. Board member Kristen Abner, would you be able to mute your mic for just a little bit? Or your speaker, because we're going to see if we're getting feedback. Can you try?
I've been muted. Can you hear me when I'm muted?
Well, you would have to unmute when it was time to speak, but I'm having a really hard time hearing Kristen Keene. So, Kristen, can you try again to talk?
Hello, can you hear me?
Right now, yes, but it's real choppy. So I almost wonder if it might not be better for you to go into that instruction and call in on your phone.
Yes, I will do that. I'll try on my cell phone.
Okay, but you'll have to log out of this. So.
Okay.
All right, we'll try it then.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay, thanks. I see Kim Prey is on. Kim, how are you doing?
I'm good, Dr. Vollmer. How are you?
We are just doing great.
Good. I'm glad.
All right. And I think we're just waiting for Kristen. Okay. Yeah, Kristen is on now. Kristen, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Perfectly, yes.
Okay, and no one's on video, is that correct? We're just voice?
Well, you're on video right now. I can see most of you, yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I think most of us are. We're at the bewitching hour. I think we can begin. The only thing I do want to say before you officially call the meeting to order is that it is very helpful if you mute your microphone when you're not speaking. And the reason for that is that we get feedback coming often. So if it's at all possible to mute when you're not speaking, that is very, very helpful. Other than that, yeah, and then to state your name when you make a motion or a second, that is also very helpful. And we are already live streaming. So Madam President, when you are ready, we can call the meeting to order at any time.
All right. I call to order this meeting. Can we skip Pledge of Allegiance for this meeting?
That would be up to you. You certainly have that authority.
Yes, let's go ahead and bypass Pledge of Allegiance just for this virtual meeting. And then preview of agenda.
Everything is accurate on the agenda, but when it comes to COVID-19 and graduation update, those are all going to be kind of combined into one. So I have a PowerPoint I'll be going through on the screen for you, okay?
All right. Well, then let's move on to communications, reports, and presentations. Is Raquel on?
I am. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so I just have a couple items to brief with the school board this afternoon. So I wanted to note that our MFLACs, or Military Family Life Consultants, are still conducting telehealth services, but they are able to start conducting some face-to-face. So we do have Miss Lisa, who is embedded in the schools. So she is available along with our adult and child MFLACs to start broadening the available services that they can give to, again, resume face-to-face. We have, you'll see it on my Facebook page, Anchored for Life, which is across the military, a program that's used by many school districts. They cover topics that relate to what our military kids face on a day-to-day, week-by-week basis. Typically, this is held within a school district, but because of COVID, they're doing these virtual series, little snippets of some of the topics that they've been covering. So we have done everything from homework to today was moving. This Thursday's topic is fear. So you can search Anchored for Life, and this is available for teachers, for parents, for school administrators, anybody that wants to have access to this. So you can either look on my Facebook page or go to anchoredforlife.com and you can look up some of these series, and those are Tuesdays and Thursdays, but they do cover a lot of topics that our mil kids face. Besides that, on base, there is a slow reopening of services. So a lot is coming on a day-by-day basis of what programs, what agencies are opening, and what are those times going to be. Specific for our school-aged youth, the youth program summer camp, final determination of how they're going to reopen for that is not yet available. That's not out yet. Right now, they're operating at about 25% of the enrolled students are actually attending. It's still based upon if you're mission essential or not. But we're waiting to hear more on that. So that's kind of just it's still in the works and more to come. But as soon as information is released from that, we will get that out to the community in regards to summer camp. And then lastly, for our seniors that are military connected, Northern Century, which is our base paper, is asking parents to submit any photos or congratulations, anything that they'd like printed in the paper for the last week of the month of May, you can submit that either to me or directly to the Northern Century folks. They have a Facebook page as well, and you can get your student's picture in the paper, well wishes, and that type of stuff. So that's all I have. If you guys have any questions, please ask away.
All right, thanks, Raquel. Any questions for her at all? All right, moving on to the COVID-19 update.
Okay, I'm gonna try to do something here. I just want to know, is everybody seeing a PowerPoint presentation that says Minot Public Schools COVID-19 update?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I'm just going to kind of go through all of this so you can see where everything is at. First of all, elementary ed, we're still continuing to educate in our distance learning plan, and we will do that now as per governor's orders for the remainder of the year. Counselors continue to develop those social emotional learning activities to support families, and they are meeting regularly and also have regular office hours to support families as needed. And the principals meet on a regular basis, at least 3 times a week with Superintendent Lawson to discuss the issues that may be arising. And right now, the emphasis is on working towards what might be coming for summer programming and also what other things might be in place as far as returning technology, or maybe for older kids, we're going to allow them to keep those technology devices over the summer. We have a lot to decide there. In secondary ed, very much the same. The distance learning plan is continuing. I didn't mention in elementary, though, that we're doing a pass-fail model for learning and grading. Secondary, they have now finalized their grading plan, and it has been sent out to parents and to teachers. The goal with the secondary folks was, because of the shift in learning processes, they wanted to make sure that that did not hurt students in regard to grading and our policies and procedures. So at any rate, that's continuing. Their counselors are working different thing. They're doing a lot at high school for graduation, for applications for colleges, all of that work that kind of continues. They also have the regular office hours, and those principals are meeting often. Today, they actually spent a lot of their time, the principals did anyway, out at the State Fair grandstands figuring out how this graduation process will work. Which brings me to graduation. We have 3 tentative dates reserved, May 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. So much of this depends on weather. And so we just can't pick a day when graduation will be. The grandstand at the State Fair is the only structure in Minot that is large enough to allow us to socially distance our graduating class and guests. So each student will be allowed to bring 2 guests. And then I did just talk with Dr. Fall at Magic City Campus, and there are about 280 tickets that are left. That's not enough to give everybody a 3rd ticket, but they are going to use a lottery system and try to figure that out in the best way possible. With my understanding, with emphasis for being on families that may have a step mother or father or something, try to get as many people there as possible. And more details will be coming on that. It's a very different scenario to have graduation there, but Assistant Superintendent Slotsky and the principals have been working very hard to come up with the best option that we can. And part of the reason it is difficult is that in Minot, we have the largest graduating class in the state with about 440, someplace in that number. And even though we're not the largest district in the state, all of the other districts have multiple high school buildings, and we have 1 high school. So we do have an enormous graduating class. So that is the plan. Once we look at the weather forecast moving forward, we'll have a better idea what options that might be. It'll either be in the evening of May 21st or 7 is what we're thinking, or on the 22nd, which is a Friday night. The other option would be on the 23rd, which is the Saturday. We would look at having a graduation at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Right now, with the long range forecast, that 23rd looks like it might be our best bet, but who knows? Who knows? So we'll let you know more as that comes. Meal service, as of May 7th, we have provided 218,008 meals to our students at Minot Public Schools and Minot Air Force Base Schools. Just to give you an idea how that works, we're averaging about 3,200 a day right now. And every child gets a lunch and then they get a breakfast for the next morning. Because of some changes in the federal law and everything else, and we worked with Colonel Goodman on this, we are going to continue that meal service through June 30 of 2020. Summer meals will continue to be delivered at specific locations in Minot and on the Minot Air Force Base is our goal, with a pickup on the base at Memorial Middle School. And then we'll also have several sites in town, Longfellow, Magic City Campus, Sunnyside, and Washington, which will be available for pickup. And again, those meals, there is no charge for that. And no questions asked. So if somebody wants to do that and take advantage of that, they can sure go ahead and do that. Childcare for emergency workers. We've been serving between 30 and 35 children approximately a day. That's being run by our CLC program. The idea behind that is, again, we need to keep our hospitals functioning. And when kids aren't in school, we need our emergency workers to have childcare available. So we worked with the city in order to make that happen, and Learning Tree Daycare. We've never had huge numbers in the program, but for the students that are taking advantage of it and their families, they are extremely grateful. And the plan is that will sundown when our school year ends. Summer programming, this is all topsy-turvy. We were planning distance learning until yesterday when Governor Burgum and Superintendent Baszler announced that we do have the options of bringing kids back. So right now we're very much in the planning process of what that might look like, while keeping in mind social distancing expectations, keeping a safe environment, and making sure that we provide protection for our staff and for students. So this is something that we're going to continue working on. This may have a bit of an effect because many of our special needs students are transported in the summer if we do have in-person summer school. So we may have to look at the effect that might have on the delivery of those meals on the base and in town. So as we move that forward, we might have to change a little bit how we would deliver those meals on base. Maybe instead of following the direct bus routes, we might have some pickup locations, you know, like one per block or something that might be a little easier for the bus drivers to make those stops. Or we might just have to spread out the amount of time that those bag meals are delivered. But we'll let you know more on that as we move forward. As far as program evaluation, the secondary principals conducted a survey. They found that 93% of middle school students felt that they can do the majority of the work, while 92% of high school students felt the same way. And this was interesting. About 40% of our middle school kids and 37% of our high school kids did report some stress with distance learning. In general, students at both levels were pleased with the rate of difficulty in completing their work, and they felt that it wasn't something that was really out of the loop for what their expectations were. We do know that many schools have conducted principal-led student focus groups with emphasis added on Magic City campus. They have done a phenomenal job of including the seniors, especially in helping to plan for graduation. That's been phenomenal. And then starting tomorrow afternoon, I'll be doing parent focus groups. Principals submitted names and they will have an opportunity to be part of a focus group with me using the same model that we're using right now. Very simply, they're going to be asked 3 questions. What went well? Second is what didn't go well, and if you could fix one thing on a distance learning model that would have made this easier for you as a parent, what would that have been? And we'll have them for about an hour. It's going to be kind of an exciting opportunity, I think, to find out a little bit more about the perception of parents and how all this worked in a very, very stressful time. Future planning, we continue to work with the governor's office, the Department of Public Instruction, and the Department of Health, and our local First District Health unit to move forward. We're doing some meetings now through a blended model with some people in person following safety guidelines and others online. We're following all of those safety protocols. But one thing we do know in visiting with the governor, that we would need to go back into a distance learning model again due to an outbreak of COVID, that the expectations will be higher and we will not have a prep time like we did now. So we're continuing to work on things like our curriculum review and revision, on our standard reference grading for elementary schools, social emotional learning, parent engagement, scales development, assessment planning, all of these things, including pacing guides, that will help us be ready for next year. And also then we will be required to submit a reentry plan, which will help guide us through students coming back in the fall. We get a lot of questions about safety of staff and students. And, you know, here's the bottom line, and we've said this from day one: we will always follow the guidelines set forth by the Department of Public Instruction, the Department of Health, the governor's office, and that is our main idea. We'll follow the Family First Coronavirus Response Act, which allows for leave for some staff members if they have extenuating circumstances. And we're just going to keep working collaboratively with everybody, because when it comes to decisions in regard to health, and flattening that curve, we really have to do everything within our power to make sure we take the word of the expert and not make our decisions on emotion. So we've really tried to focus on doing that. What does next year look like? Absolutely no idea, other than knowing that we will have to have a distance learning plan in place to be ready for rapid implementation in the event that we do this. This could include a very type of things depending on infection rates in our community, which might involve health screenings each day, for example, taking temperatures, students wearing masks, all of those things. So as we plan for uncertainty, we know that we have to rely again on the word of those experts, and that's what we will do. I just want to take this opportunity to thank you as a board. I had an opportunity to thank our in-town school board, to our teachers, to our parents, to our students. This hasn't been perfect, but I think it's gone about as well as we can expect it to. And that's because people really were working together and putting our focus on where it needed to be, and that was supporting our students. So I want to just thank everybody for their role in making that happen. And then I will open it up to any questions that any of you might have. Anybody?
No question, but well done on putting that together. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and I will try to get it sent out to you in an email form in case you want to have it for reference for any parents that you might visit with or whatever else. I also want to just give a huge shout out to Colonel Goodman. He has been phenomenal to work with. And as we've had issues, and no storm related issues this year, but I understand he's retiring soon, but we've had a great working relationship with him and moving this forward. And we're so pleased to be able to continue those meals in the month of June too, because our goal is to really support those families and students. So give him a shout out if you happen to run across him on base, but it's been very good. And Raquel, your support has been so appreciated as well. We've had good relationships with our school liaison officers, and I really think it has been a positive thing, and one of the most positive things I think we've worked on in my 9 years now of being superintendent. So thank you all very much for your role in this. And at any time, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out, okay? Thank you.
All right, good updates. Building project update.
We'll turn that over to Jared.
Thank you. Is that me causing the feedback? Okay. Madam President, members of the board, thank you for having me this afternoon. Just so happens this morning I was out on base early and met with our roofing contractor, Herzog, and they're out of Detroit Lakes in Minnesota. We had some concerns about people traveling across state lines to be conducting some of our work, not only on the base, but in some of our in-town schools, because there was that requirement for the 14-day quarantine, which the governor has lifted for us as a state. So that's helped us tremendously. We had a pre-construction meeting for our roofing project at Dakota Hall, and we discussed things like staging. We discussed things like safety, fencing off an area for materials to keep the playground separate, even though we're not in session. Periodically during the day, students do visit our playgrounds, and so we want to make sure we keep them safe. Just other incidentals, talking about where things to pay attention to, areas maybe to stay away from. We've got some high-line wires that I'm potentially going to have to get covered or protected in a way that it makes it safe for the roofers, things like that. They're expecting to start first week of June. Looks like they're going to have their material. They're not going to have any supply issues. And when it comes to manpower issues, I believe we have 15 of their 18 employees pass the background checks to get onto the base, and we're not privy to why some don't, but they're confident they have a number of the numbers they need to put this project together over the summer. They're looking at working 10 days on and 4 days off. So they'll be putting in some long work days. They're planning on starting at 6 in the morning and so forth. So that project's coming along well. We appreciate having the go ahead on that, and that's going to be a tremendous improvement for that school. So knowing that we're going to have a roof we can count on, then there's some opportunities for us to make some improvements within the school, and we're going to be carpeting the hallway there this summer. And that work's also expected to take place this summer, starting in June, early part of the month. We also have various other carpeting projects in the other two schools where we do just routine classroom replacements when the carpet gets to a certain age or a certain condition. So those will be addressed as well. One of the things we've done, taking advantage of the more mild weather, doesn't seem like it's so mild. We just had freezing temperatures last night, but for the last week and a half, I've had 2 staff on the base, and we've been upgrading and preparing the playgrounds for some upgrades. So we've removed some original installation swing sets, some other equipment that was put in the mid 60s, and that wasn't in the best condition. We've been maintaining it to the best of our ability with parts that were available, but we decided to remove those, and we have some new playground equipment for both North Plains and Dakota going in this summer. And in taking the old ones out, there's locates to do, there's hurdles there's steps to take. And so we're taking all those precautions as well, and working with the local utility companies. We're preparing those areas. We're moving some of the material around. It's not just cutting the grass and things like that. This has not been directed at it. We're trying to improve the property to put us into a condition that will receive these new. With the wet weather last fall, we experienced a lot of ground heaving with some freezing and this spring, and so some of our existing equipment even needed some modifications. So we had to make modifications of that, and we have staff that are trained to do those things, and actually are trained and certified to work on this equipment. So those items have been in the works. At North Plains, we've got some new windows that are they're actually here in town now. We've had some fail over time, and decided not to just replace the 8 or 9 that were damaged, but it was in a section of the gym where it made sense to have some higher efficiency glass put in, and we decided to put in 22 new windows in that gym at North Plains. Otherwise, there's just been minor mechanical items to deal with. Expected routine items. We've been replacing some valves, check valves, pump parts, things like that in our boiler rooms after the season now is closed for the need to heat, or it's given us some opportunities to make some needed repairs. Only other items would be outside. Last summer, we spent a lot of time. North Plains has a huge property, and we went through and spent hours and hours and days cleaning and grubbing out the shelter belts and the trees and the Russian olives and things like that. And we were able to do somewhat of that at Memorial too, but none at Dakota. We have large Lombardy poplars. I'm sure if you're familiar with Dakota, you see those 40 to 50 foot trees, and we have 5 or 6 that are dead that we're going to have to get removed, and we're probably going to get those removed prior to the roofing project to allow them better access and things like that. So if you've got any questions, I'd be willing to address those or attempt to answer them.
All right. Any questions, anyone?
Madam President, I think your microphone might be off.
Oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
No?
No.
I can hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, that was on me. I muted because Jared was in the same room as I, so sorry about that.
Like, oh no, I don't know what to do. Okay.
You're good.
Okay, if there's no other questions for Jared, we'll just go ahead and move along to the approval of minutes. Do I have anybody who is willing to approve those?
This is Kim Prey. I make a motion to approve the minutes.
This is Kristen Abner. I'll second that motion.
Question, this is from April minutes?
Yes.
Okay.
March 24th meeting.
Okay, thank you.
All right, roll call when you're ready, Scott.
Tanner,
Yes.
you can give me a thumbs up if you can.
Yes.
Engel, Abner, you can say yes.
Yes.
Pray,
Yes.
and Keen.
Yes.
Perfect.
All right, financial report.
All right. You should have in front of you the March 31st financial report that shows a general fund balance of $6,659,000 and change, a building fund balance of $149,000 and change. Impact aid, we've received 4.1 as of the end of March. Actually, by now, we've actually received over 7 million. So we exceeded our budget. So we're in great shape there. As far as bills, it's just normal things: sanitation, transportation, fiber connection, and then some NAFAS expenses that I'm trying to recoup. I mean, the airfare will go to credits and will be able to be used at another time, but I'm trying to get back the registrations or give us credit towards next falls, but I'm working on that.
I
So
thought they sent that back
I haven't gotten it yet. So did you get an email on it?
a long time ago.
Okay. Maybe share that with me and Don. All right, but other than that, nothing special. If we got the refunds, we'll just deposit it back into the fund.
Wanted to let everyone know that in regard to that, the summer meeting has already been canceled. We've heard nothing about fall. I think our biggest concern is that they're always talking about a second wave of this. And so what will happen as far as meeting goes, we really don't know. I know, Lauren, you had planned on attending but I think we're square with you. I don't think there's any outstanding debt that you have. We're good. So perfect.
Yeah, no, we're good.
Okay, very good. Okay, I will need a motion in a second for the financials, please.
I'd like a motion to approve the financials.
Thank you.
This is Kim Prey. I'll second.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Very good.
All right. Any old business? All right. On to new business.
Madam President, members of the board, we do have a handful of resignations, folks that have announced, and none of these are retirements. There are people that have just decided that they are going to be leaving our community. Heather Hickok at Dakota, Tiana Olson at Dakota, Amanda Pellinero at North Plains, and then Tasha Jacobson, who was a teacher at Magic City campus. And again, it's just for your information. These are not, they've already had their resignations approved by the in-town board, and we are well on our way of hiring suitable replacements for all. So, did you want me to go on to my next?
Yes, please.
All right. Summer lunch program is booming along, and I gave you those statistics before. We are going to continue through the month of June. If you know of families who are struggling, or if you know of families who would like to take advantage of that and who are not, please let them know there is no charge for that. They'll see the school buses coming through their neighborhood. All they need to do is run out and grab a bag. Or if a family would prefer, they can go to Memorial and they can just drive up to the curb in front of the building, and there will be people out there handing out bag lunches. So it is a wonderful service. It is all part of the CARES Act, which has allowed us to shift our gears, essentially, and continue food service to families. So we're very happy to do that. But if you have any questions on that, don't hesitate to reach out. But it is a good thing, and encourage people to please take advantage.
All right. Moving on to any announcements. Anybody got anything?
Madam President, I do want to let you know that Jim Rosted is here. I don't know if he wants to give a report on anything, but we're sharing a computer, so you may or may not see Jim, but I bet you do now.
Hi, Jim.
Hey, Jim.
Hi. It's nice to hear you all.
Yeah, you're hiding back there.
Mark actually tilted his computer so I could see you guys, and yet so you could see him, since he's obviously conducted most of the meeting and informed you with his report. Just want to say, if you feel a little bit disconnected, don't feel alone. This is I've shared with others that some days it feels like I'm in the twilight zone. So, just good to see you all, and hope everything's going good on the base too. So, looking forward to moving through this, and hoping that we'll ever sometime get back to normal. Good to hear you all.
And that's all I have. As far as graduation, Jody will be sending out more information. I don't know if any board members had planned on being a part of the graduation ceremony. If you did, it is going to look a little different this year, just because of the magnitude of trying to social distance in an outside venue. But on every crisis comes opportunity. So, hey, we're going to make this an event to remember for our grads. So,
Sure is. All right. Anybody have anything else? All right. I'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, thank you guys.
All right.
Stay healthy.
You as well.
Thank you.